All right, hello everyone. We are live. Hey, Captain Easy, thanks for coming by. Nice to see you, man. And yeah, this is just because I need units for Cyber Weekend because that is coming up, whether we like it or not. But I also thought I'd take the opportunity if anybody wants to chat about relics, 7 stars, things like that, because we did get a lot of news and I'm very interested in everyone's feedback. It's important that we hear everyone's opinion on these matters for sure, because it is going to change the game. But yeah, if we get enough people, we might do some friendly matchups and stuff later with Battlegrounds as well, but I'm mostly just going to be going to get Immortal Iron Man and such, just to get the 3 and the 4 star and do some milestones, get some units and things like that. So it should be pretty chill. It's always more fun to do it with other people though. Alright, stream is looking good. Sound is looking good. Alright, getting a little faster at setting this thing up. When I stream, I do it from a laptop. I have like a MacBook Air, so it's pretty low tech. And just takes me a while to set it up every time. I don't have like an office where all my gaming stuff happens. But if you're out there, how's your Friday going? I just made a cup of coffee and starting the arena. I didn't grind at all yesterday. And I've been doing way less arena lately. Just in terms of like my normal amount of grinding, there's just kind of a lot to do. Let's see, Captain Easy. Introducing relics and 7 stars all about implementation. I think most people just do not want their current roster to become useless. Yeah, I agree 100%. And relics are going to be available, you know, they've said they're sort of like an RPG enhancing element, so they're not going to make champions have bigger stats. They're going to like enhance the abilities that the champion already has. So I don't see that making it like, you know, your roster starting over, but I'm pretty anxious about 7 stars as well. Oh look, we won our first war. Nice. Nice to get the first win of the season. But yeah, I'm so let's see, Massacre is here, Massacre. I love that 7 stars are coming to the game, to be honest. I had sort of in my head this year realized that it was inevitable, and I had already sort of been mentally preparing for it. And they're still not coming for like another 6 months plus or so, I think, because they said the spring of 2023. So, you know, it's going to happen regardless, because, you know, 7 comes after 6, right? Oh, is this the outrage stream? Yeah, man. This is all about the outrage. We're gonna yell at Kabam for 3 straight hours. But yeah, it does really matter with the implementation. I want, obviously, for the, you know, the whales are gonna get it first. They're gonna have the new shiny thing first. I just hope that if you aren't a big spender, that there's still a way to feel relevant, and hopefully the Ascension component to this is the answer to that. Hey Damon, what's up? Let's see. Trying to. I don't have the skills of most YouTubers of playing Arena while not looking at the screen and reading comments, so just give me 1 second here. Let's see. Biggest problem is why are they attaching prestige to relics? It's just their strategy to sell anything by attaching prestige. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not a fan of that. The piece of information that I don't have is how significant it's going to be. Because I'm thinking of myself, like, hey, I've got this decent roster where, you know, I've got like 5 champs with decent prestige. And I've been working really hard on that. And then it's like, how fast am I going to get relics? Because like, if you need 5 relics to have decent prestige, and it's like I only have 1, and the only way to get 5 is spending, I'm definitely not going to be into that. But I think DLL or somebody hinted that the impact isn't going to be as huge. So like your 5 champions are still going to be the bulk of your prestige, but you know, if it's the difference of like, you know, 15,000 and 16,000 prestige or something, I mean, that's like significant, you know. Do you think they're going to introduce a new monthly EQ difficulty? I haven't heard anything about that yet, but that would kind of make sense. I think we're, especially because we're only, it's only called Cavalier difficulty and we're already on Paragon. You would think yes. I also sort of had a theory that Eternity of Pain is kind of taking the place of a new EQ in a way. What I mean by that is it's a repeatable piece of content that doesn't take that long and doesn't cost energy, but it's something that you can depend on every month, or at least for the rest of this year it's going to be happening. And it's sort of filling out the rewards that you would expect like a Paragon EQ to have, which is rank 4 materials and Sig Stones and champ acquisition. So yeah, they haven't leaked to us anything. Wouldn't that just be another thing to do? Yeah, I'm with you, Captain Easy. As it is, I am barely getting Cav EQ done, and in the old days when there was less to do, I would try to at least do a pass of every other one, and I'd usually like 100% masters as well as like uncollected and stuff. So nowadays though, I'm not at all. I just feel like there's not time because you're grinding out Eternity of Pain, you're doing Battlegrounds, Alliance stuff, you know, we're in the middle of the Vega tournament. Hey Jay, well, what's up, man? Who's making it out of your group? Dude, I don't know, man. For the Vega tournament, Group D is looking crazy right now. And I don't know if we're the only group that has this, but everybody is 1-1. So we've each won and we've each lost. And next week is the final round. So it's going to be me versus B Manny and Nick136 versus Clown. And it's like literally a 1-game playoff. Because whoever wins is going to be 2-1, and those 2 people that are 2-1 are going to be the ones that go on. So I'm actually pretty excited about that, because it's going to be literally like playing to get into the tournament. So yeah, I think almost every other group has at least one person who's 2-0, who's like ready to just like secure their spot. But with us, everything's on the line next week. It's going to be pretty cool. Yes, exactly, mate. We don't just need them, but also have to awaken them and Sig 200 them. It would had been much better if they wouldn't had prestige attached to them to just enjoy the mode, like enjoy the relics. Yeah, I kind of agree. And now I don't know if it's like a 200 scaling, because we know there is an awakening, which is called the innate ability. We do know that that exists, and I'm assuming there's a way to level that up with multiple dupes. I don't know if it's all the way up to 200 and if there's going to be like Sig Stones for your relics. That seems pretty wild though, if there were. To me, that's like another thing that I have to be like leveling up. And, you know, I'm not even sure how big of an impact they're going to have. Because if we just use the model of the Venom one, it's specifically for Venom and Carnage and Venom Pool, who are already, I mean, at least Venom and Venom Pool are already pretty good. And then if they all have more damage from the attributes and everything, that's great. But like, I have a feeling that people are just going to attach it to Hercules, who doesn't proc bleeds. because it's just going to give Hercules a 13 hit combo because you get the 10 hits and then you get the 3 hits from the striker and then you get the additional 5 hit combo. So it's like what's going to be more powerful, Carnage with more crit damage and more bleeds, or Hercules with a 13 hit combo? You know what I mean? So I'm worried that they're trying to cut out a niche with the RPG elements, but that people aren't going to want to play that way, and they're going to find ways to just break them. But me personally, I'm hoping I can put it onto Carnage. Let's see, Captain Easy. I'd rather that they add some objectives instead of having a new Thronebreaker EQ. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that too. Or at least just like if they got rid of normal mode, which is probably what they would do, because there used to be a beginner mode and they got rid of that when they added Cavalier, so that there was still the same amount of total things to do. But they would have to add units to Cav EQ, and yeah, I don't know, man. It already takes a long time. There's already so much to do, so like a whole other quest to do would be a lot. Have you gotten any info on AQ or revamp? It's becoming irrelevant. And with them adding prestige components to relics, that can't allow AQ to be entirely irrelevant. I believe, and if I get in trouble for saying this, it's because they haven't posted it yet, but I know that AQ changes are coming. I don't know what they are or when, though. And I believe that they've said that on the forums. If not, then I didn't say anything. But yeah, AQ is getting very, very stale. And rewards-wise, War is definitely looking a lot juicier this season. And it's like, why even bother with AQ for just like a little tiny bit of rank 4 materials? My hope, and this is again something I don't have information on, is that they don't just like rewards buff it, that they just change AQ to be less intrusive, because it does feel completely irrelevant. But there is going to have to be some way that you are rewarded for having high prestige, otherwise the whales won't keep buying. Whoops, I wasn't watching. Then you need to go ham, and yes, you guys are the only group. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, B Manny. So the match against Nick, man, I got so psyched out by him running the recoil tree masteries, and I feel like my whole strategy the entire match was wrong. And I just like, he just beat me outright, and he played well. Like the thing with, if you're doing a Battlegrounds tournament with recoil on, like you have to basically play perfectly. And I mean, he did. Like, he didn't make any mistakes. So that meant if I made any mistake, or if I like didn't select a really good matchup, I was going to get totally destroyed. So huge props to him. But you know, it's interesting because I was able to beat Clown. I think I just got lucky and outdrafted him, and he made a couple mistakes. But then Clown beat B Manny. So, and they both have kind of like a similar roster. So I think everyone has a chance next week. It's all going to kind of come down to just, you know, the draft and how well everybody plays. But I'm definitely excited. Group D is one of the most exciting ones right now for sure. And I don't have a time for when we're going to match, but my hope is that I'm able to stream it again, because that was really fun. It's not in the rules that you have to stream, but I personally kind of like the pressure of streaming. My issue is that once it becomes like evening time, I can't really stream anymore because I've got people that live in my house who go to bed early. Hey, PWF, what's up? Yeah, when Kabam said that Alliance War rewards were going to get buffed after the Loyalty Store update, they also mentioned AQ rewards would be getting buffed at some point this year. Okay, good. So I'm not going to get in trouble with the CCP for saying that. Yeah, AQ, I'm hoping it's more than just the rewards, and they have not given us any info on that. So this month is already going to be kind of big with the incursions update whenever that happens. So yeah, incursions, solo incursions, I'm really anxious to see what those rewards are, if there's like 6-star acquisition involved with it. I love that you can do solo incursions, because as much as I enjoy playing with other folks, there are times that I'm like, I just don't want to have to coordinate someone else's schedule, and I've got like a half hour. I wish I could just knock it out myself. My question, which hasn't been answered yet, is like, are the rewards going to be the same if you go solo? Are they going to be worse if you go solo versus going with a companion? I'm just not 100% sure. Because that would be kind of a drag if it was like way worse to go solo, because then it kind of defeats the purpose of the option even existing. Oh, whoops. All right. Hey, Vega, what's up, man? Yeah, Vega, come right on, man. We were just here chilling. We're talking about, you know, relics and 7 stars and the future of the game and stuff. And I'm doing arena because I need units, man. Cyber Weekend is coming up, and I'm expecting something juicy with all these announcements going on. So I want to be prepared, and I'm way behind on that whole thing. Let's see. Hey, Captain Easy saying something else here. Pocket Bacon is recruiting. AQ and AW is optional. Very chill. We're just looking for a few active members. Yeah, I think, you know, I'm really, really happy with VACC right now with Cats Alliance. It's really fun, man, and we're 2 battle groups, which means there's no pressure for anybody to do any one thing, but there's sort of like a core of people that usually do AQ and AW. But every season there's been like 1 or 2 wars that I've sat out, which has been just perfect. But then, you know, I can do a war and take like 11 fights for fun if I want, anytime. And the vibe is just really great. And also, one of my buddies, and I believe he just showed up. That would be Mr. Richard Mobius there, is, yeah, man, he just joined VACC, so I'm really happy that he's part of the crew, too. We played back in, like, 2018 together, and now he's in my battle group, which is pretty fun. So, hello, Pika Pika. Thanks for stopping by. Chilling in the hospital, watching. Hopefully we get to leave tomorrow morning. Awesome, man, and congratulations. If I recall, this is good news hospital stuff, not bad news. So anyone reading that, say congrats to to Richard's family there. Good stuff. Hey, Yate, what's up, man? Thanks for coming by. And yeah, I just said, just in case you didn't hear, I said publicly I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the cow gang there. You guys are awesome. I'm having an awesome time there. It was really just what I needed, too. I needed that break from high tier stuff. Yep, good news for sure. Congrats, man. But yeah, this is about the units, man. There's so much to do in the game right now, and I was like, I haven't done arena in forever, so I want to get that Infamous Doom, Infamous Iron Man. What's his name? Does anybody remember? Infamous Iron Man. It's not Immortal Doom. I think we should just start calling him Immortal Doom, though. That sounds actually way cooler. Hey, Accelerate, what's up, dude? Beautiful voice for radio, thanks. It's all in the microphone, actually. My voice is actually like 2 octaves higher. It hasn't changed yet, but I put effects on it so that it comes out like that low baritone there. So just in case you wanted to know. We have a plan to group celebrate when you get your 7-star Elsa. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because the thought has crossed my mind, right? Like, what's the initial pool of 7 stars going to look like? I'd imagine it's going to be champions that are not like overpowered but have some use in the game. And Elsa is still pretty underrated by a lot of people, so that would be pretty sweet if she was in that initial pool. I would be all about targeting her. Doom, yeah, Doom, Iron Man, I don't know. Use auto-tune, nice. That's too real for me because I edit vocals for people sometimes. And yeah, auto-tune, Melodyne is pretty good for that. Hey Yuki, what's going on? But anyway, Vega, if you're still out there, is there some tournament action happening tonight, I believe? I think there's at least one match going on later tonight that we can get people to go watch. It's been a real blast being part of the tournament, I gotta say. A lot of fun. It was really fun watching Clown and B Manny go at it because I had some stake in the fights, you know. If B Manny won, then he would be kind of running away with it, but Clown got the win. So now we're all tied up, which is pretty sweet. I haven't run my entire 6-star roster in a really long time, so I'm curious to see how many points I can put up here. Oop, oh, I thought I was too far away for that heavy. Oh yeah, did you see that instant reaction to the special one there with Tigra? That's like fintech level skill there. Alright, I just realized my phone is not on Do Not Disturb, so give me 1 second to fix that. Just in case someone wanted to call me. Alright, that should do it. Okay, I think we're back. Did I do that right? Okay, Amanda versus Simula at 6 p.m. PST, which is 9 p.m. my time. Awesome. I'll try to catch that. It's going to be pizza night in my house tonight, so after we have our carb coma, I'm going to tune into that one for sure. That's actually going to be really good. I'm really excited for that. They're both such good players, and they both love like very specific champions, and they're really skilled with very specific champions. So like we're not gonna just be seeing like a Herc versus Nimrod matchup there. I'd love to see some like Anti-Venom and Void and Tigra stuff happening. That would be pretty cool. Thanks for lurking, guys. I appreciate the support. This is also secretly for me to practice playing on stream, even though it's just arena. I found that this has been a common topic regarding the Vega tournament. Is like some people when they stream they don't have sound on, and other people know how to do it. And I've actually figured out how to have sound in my ears during stream, but for some reason there's like a split-second delay, like not even, it's probably like an eighth of a second delay in the sound, and it's actually counterproductive to the point where like it's making me miss parries. So I've decided I'm playing with the sound off when I'm on stream, just because I can't figure out how to get rid of that latency. So I do a lot of stuff silently. Like I actually do a lot of my war fights silently, just because I'm usually doing them when I'm like sitting around the house and I don't want to be making all these crazy sounds and bothering people. So I'm pretty used to it, and it should be fine. The thing for me is actually the lightning cable into the device. It makes the like the way I hold it, it makes my grip a little bit different, if that makes sense. Yeah, I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone 11, and I stream on a MacBook Air. It's actually pretty low tech. I don't have a desktop computer, so I figured out a way to kind of get the settings so that it doesn't lag too much and it doesn't use like 100% of my computer at one time, and it kind of works. So, but also I don't use a capture card, I use QuickTime, so it's a little bit, it might be a different system. Because right now, streaming, I'm at 30 frames per second, and it's using 21% of my computer power, which I don't know, I feel like that's a good range. Like my computer's not going to overheat, and I'm not going to be dropping frames at that rate, but I feel like if I start pulling too many other things in, it might slow down the stream a little bit. But yeah, super low tech, but it gets the job done. For the sound, if I plug in headphones, I have like a desktop mirroring software, I think, called I Show You, which is what pumps the sound into OBS. And I can hear that, but for some reason, there's like a little bit of latency on the sound, so that's the problem. This is why I don't do this for a living. I just do it for fun. But yeah, Amanda and Sim playing tonight. That's going to be fun. Looking forward to that one. So I've already decided, because they showed us the Venom Relic, that I'm gonna, whenever we get a chance to test them, I really want to test out Carnage particularly, and I want to see how powerful he is when you put on the Red Goblin synergy and like a maxed out Venom Relic on him, and I want to see if it's like, if it makes him a viable champion, because he already has very, very high damage per second. I'm curious if it gets to the level where you can just be like spamming unblockable specials and they go down super, super quick. That's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. So for anyone out there in the chat, are you pushing your battlegrounds to try to get into Gladiator Circuit? Are you just kind of chilling in the lower parts? Are you using units to get the Alliance events? I'm kind of curious what everyone's up to. And while you're letting me know, I'm personally not using any units for it. I think for Season 1, it's a little bit of a waste, because we have no idea what we're going up against, and I would rather use those units on something more guaranteed, like an offer or something. But yeah, I've made it to Vibranium, and I'm just kind of every 2 days, when you have to win 5 matches, I'm just kind of doing my 5 matches to get the wins. And usually I have more than a 50-50 record. Like usually it may not be by much. I might like lose 4 and win 5, but it's enough to kind of keep my rating go up a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of see where I land. So I'm in Mysterium 1 right now, which is the one right before you start getting to the Celestials. And that's kind of how I'm approaching it, is like I'm sort of pretending the Alliance event and the solo event don't exist, because I think it's just going to make me mad if I'm like trying to be like, someone else is spending and I'm not. I mean, because it's like, who knows how much you're going to have to put in to actually get the Awakening Gem and stuff, you know? And make him a Herald. Oh, like, okay, you meant Herald as in Herald, not Herald like the name. Yeah, if you made Herald Carnage with Red Goblin synergy, with who else has a synergy for him? Venom, Symbiote Supreme, all that. I think he's going to be pretty awesome. I've always enjoyed Carnage. Feel like Capam will just increase the HP for future new content so that the Relic will be necessary. Well, maybe, but the Relic doesn't necessarily it doesn't like add stats. It just kind of adds effective damage and it extends your combo. So it's like, and it seems like the relics are being attached to champions that are sort of like medium level. Like there's not going to be a relic that's specifically for Hercules or for Kitty Pryde or something. Like they may eventually come out with mutant ones and, you know, like science ones, but they're not going to make Torch more powerful or something like that, you know, or make Hercules more powerful, I think, at least. It seems like, yeah, I think though, like once 7 stars start becoming the norm, we'll see the HP increase. And who knows, there might be another like Abyss type content at some point. But they've sort of steered away from that because they've sort of said it's not just fun to make it like a million attack and a million more health and stuff. Let's see, accelerate. I've been in Gladiator Circuit since the first meta, just doing 5 fights to get the rewards. Great. That's kind of exactly what I'm doing too. Because I'm not super interested in pushing the events because there's no leaderboard. You have no idea how you're doing. I do have to say, like, I'll be winning a bunch of matches with energy and feeling great, and then I'm like, all right, let's pop some Elder's Marks, and then I start like just sucking. And it's like, well, never get those back. So I definitely had, and like a couple times I had to go up against modders with my Elder's Marks, and that was super annoying. Because that felt like a total waste. Let's see, Ollie's here. I've spent less than 2,000 units on Battlegrounds, but still have around 700 to 800 Elders left. Nice, so you're doing great. I don't have a, I bet that like, you know, I've heard that like TCN and like the real huge whale alliances are going nuts with this, and like they're tanking and getting to the bottom and then using their Elder's Marks and winning, and like when they're tanking they're using the correct classes and tags and stuff to maximize the points, and it's just kind of ridiculous. But I have a feeling that only a very small percentage of the game is doing that, which means that if you're doing what you're doing, which is like spending a little bit of units but not a ton, you're actually probably going to be in like the top 5%, in my opinion. Mr. WTF. Oh, I have zero interest in Battleground. Yeah, well, you don't have to do it. I mean, the game is pretty rich right now to the point where there's so much you can do. And at least this season, the rewards are not totally game-changing. I think the big thing for someone in my position is the Sig Stones, right? Because you can get 40 Sig Stones for a month of work. Possibly more because there's the off-season week. So if you get enough trophy tokens, you can get 50 SIGs per season, which for someone that's not buying offers with SIGs in them, that's actually a lot of SIGs. So for me, it's something I don't want to pass up. But when it comes to the events, I'm not like super jazzed about going crazy for those. I honestly haven't played, just haven't had much of an opportunity. Got to Silver 3, which isn't too good. Well, you ascended through Bronze, and if you want to play, I bet that by now, the people left in Silver, your roster's going to be destroying them. So you can hopefully ascend. Okay. How about an Aged Venom Relic? He needs even more power now, yeah. I almost wish that it would be cool if the Venom Relic worked on Cosmic's Champions and all Symbiotes, because then if you could use it on Symbiote Supreme or Agent Venom, that would be cool. But it seems to be class-based right now. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't proc buffs, but he does have bleeds. So it would be cool to get the Venom Relic on him. It's a rule of nature that I'll get my butt kicked every time I use Elder's Marks. Yeah, I know. It's like, I always try to gear up for Elder's Marks matches when it's like the right time of day. I'm in a good mindset. I'm a little warmed up, and then it's like, oh, I just totally messed up there. That's happened to me more often than not. Like my Elder's Mark win rate is probably 60-40, which I was hoping that I could get closer to like 75-25. But it is what it is. Up to 275k points in solo. I'm hoping to get top 250 for the Awakening Gem. I think that's the big thing, right? Because everything else in the rewards is, I don't want to like diminish it, but it's kind of like stuff that you get everywhere else, right? Rank 4 materials, sig stones, shards. Like obviously it's more of that stuff, but you know, if you do your Eternity of Pain, your 8.1, all that kind of stuff, you're going to get those materials just a little bit slower. But Awakening Gems are still really special and very rare. So if you can manage to sneak into the Awakening Gem bracket, that is totally worth the investment, in my opinion. Because the only other way to get one easily in the game right now is 8.1, or spending a lot of loyalty, which like you can't do that too often, in my opinion. You can't just every season spend 1 million loyalty for an Awakening Gem, or you're just gonna like lose everything. Alright, we're gonna try to do the Scorpion maneuver if he ever throws this. Nice, we connected. Gotta love the Scorpion maneuver. I'm getting a little bit better at that. I had to ask Karate Mike for some tips because I kept missing the special intercept with Scorpion, and he actually gave me some really good tips because he knows what he's doing. When they add 7-star and 7-star Stigs, then 6-star resources like 6-star Stigs will be more accessible. So I'm all for 7 stars. That's actually not a bad argument, and I kind of agree with you there. And we're already starting to see that the 6-star things are coming in way easier than they used to. So it's like somebody's going to get their first 7-star before we do, right? But it's probably going to be like a moderately powerful champion at low sig, you know? So it's not going to have a huge impact right away. But if we can be powering up our 6 stars in the meantime, that's pretty cool. Especially with some of the champs that came out this year. Like, my God. 2022 has been an awesome year for champs. There's hardly any duds. Like, I've even heard that Gore is doing really well in Battlegrounds, and Gore is a champion that I kind of didn't really look at too much. Kind of thought that he was a little bit of a miss, but apparently he's doing well. And then oh wait, I just pushed him to a special 3. That's fun. Who else? Like, I think Betsy Braddock is maybe one of the more underappreciated champions, but if she's like the worst champ of the year, I mean, dude, like, that's really good comparatively speaking, because she actually has a little bit of utility in the game. And everyone else has use. Even like Misty and Sauron and Toad and stuff, they all sort of have use. So I think 2020 is arguably the best year we've seen yet for champions. And also because we haven't seen like a Hercules level champion, which I think is good for the game. The only champion I think who's like... Well, I actually won't even say that. I do think Scorpion, when he's played at his utmost potential, is extremely powerful. But not to the point where you can, like, go into an Eternity of Pain fight against a Mystic and die and still take off 50% of their damage like Hercules can. Gore is good for auto block champs. Nice. I actually don't super know his kit, so I'm looking forward to maybe getting him in the next featured. I haven't been making friends with Toad as a BG defender. Yeah, I had to look up how to fight Toad recently because I kept going in with poison immune and I kept getting stunned. Right, I kept getting like passive stun, and I'm like, why is that happening? And then I found out you're supposed to be baiting his special twos. And once I figured that out, it made things a lot easier. You just kind of go in with poison immune and then bait his special twos, and that gets rid of his prowess. Or you could just use like Nimrod or Omega Sentinel, obviously. But yeah, I was using like Warlock or Ultron against him, and then eventually he would get to 10 prowess, and I would just get stunned and totally wrecked. And I was like, what's happening? Let's see. There are 5 or 6 champs this year that are in debate of being top champ, not only for this year, but in their class. Yeah, like off the top of my head, Hulkling, Rintra, Scorpion, all amazing. Omega Sentinel is amazing. And then there's Gallon and Quicksilver. There's Immortal Iron Man. I mean, like, for reals. It's been quite a year. But, like, none of them feel like they're breaking the game. Even Immortal Iron Man, like, he suffers from prestige syndrome, where it's like he's automatically, like, super wanted. But when I was testing him, he was super smooth. The thing I like about Immortal Iron Man is, like, it's a little bit like Original Doom, where you get to the special 3 and then it's like the fight's over, but it's kind of not. It's a little bit less safe. And if you don't know how to play him, it's not just like game over. Whereas with Doom, you know, unless if they're stun immune or like they have some way of not getting their power drained, you can pretty much, you know, recover any fight by throwing a special 3, even if they're totally red. But with Immortal Iron Man, it's a little bit easier to mess up if you don't keep track of everything with him. But I do find that if you throw a special 3 and then you get to a couple special 2s, the fight's over. And he has that massive regen. It's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting him someday. This week's meta isn't great for Gore. Yeah, I would imagine with the Mighty Charge. I actually had to take Elsa Bloodstone out of my deck because as much as I wanted to make her work, which is like my goal in life, it wasn't working with Mighty Charge because if she doesn't have debuffs, it really all falls apart. Like you said, Kabam isn't going to give 7 stars a million damage, so a 6-star rank 5 on a 12% damage boost will be similar to a... Yeah, I agree. We don't know for sure, but I would assume that the scaling of a 5-star to a 6-star is going to be analogous to a 6 to a 7, which means if you pull a random 7-star, it's going to be like having a rank 4 6-star in my guessing, right? I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that they wouldn't go back to the old way, which was like a rank 3 equivalent. They'll probably stick with the rank 4 equivalent, in my opinion. That would be smart, at least. So if that's the case, if you have a rank 5 6-star, especially with Ascension, I mean, that's really good. The one thing that you won't have is whatever the new mechanic is that's going to be like the equivalent of Adrenaline. You won't have that. So we'll have to see what that is and how powerful it is, and if it really makes a 7-star a lot more powerful. Adrenaline is definitely, I think it was underrated when it came out. But now that we've had 6 stars for a while, Adrenaline adds so much effective HP to your champion. It's pretty wild, I gotta say. And what else was like? Oh yeah, and then also challenge rating is a big deal. So like a 7-star is probably gonna have higher challenge rating eventually, which means that your champs are gonna like crit less and they're gonna take more block damage and stuff. Magneto is actually really good for this meta. Just build prowess and special 3. Then when they Mighty Charge, it removes the bleed and they 100k instantly. Oh, nice. I didn't realize that. So Magneto has a shrugging punishing ability? That's cool. Or is it just the shrapnel bleed explodes when it ends? Is that what it is? Magneto's actually a pretty good defender in this meta too, because Mighty Charge means that you can't parry his medium. So if you're trying to re-parry and he keeps throwing heavies at you, he has the unstoppable back to back to back like that. And I've actually thrown him on defense and he's messed some people up because they're trying to be too aggressive and they run into the unstoppable and stuff. It's pretty cool. Shrapnel bleed. Tech Doom synergy with Reed, no buffs for the defender. Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of like Anti-Venom, right? When Anti-Venom has Spider-Man 99 on the team. Oh, okay, so shrapnel bleed triggers basically when the bleeds end, which would be even if they get purified, so that's cool. I haven't tested that yet. My Magneto rank 3 is one of my newer rank 3s, actually. Well, actually, I got him for just in time for the, what's it called? When I did the Mutant Domination Karina's Challenge, which was a few months ago. I got Magneto out of one of those mythic crystals, which kind of cracked me up, because those are very weird. I don't know what, like, when did mythic crystals start, and, like, why do they exist? It's so weird. Like, they take so long to form, and then you open it and usually get a 5-star. But I got really lucky on the first mythic crystal I ever opened was a Red Mags 6-star. I have a kind of a funny video on that. But yeah, Archangel is pretty bad this week with the Mighty Charge as well. I see him in a lot of people's decks still for offense, and I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I thought I was holding block there. I guess not. Okay, we barely got that special 2 off. I've gotten only 5 stars from them. Yeah. Ever since then, I've only gotten 5 stars, but I did finally get 5-star White Mags, which was cool. I was looking forward to finally getting him, and he came out of a mythic crystal too. So for me, it's like a chance at Magneto, or a guaranteed Magneto with a chance of another champ every time I open one. Oh, thanks, Captain Easy. I'm glad you enjoyed that video. I was just like so. I don't even know what. I was like, why do these crystals even exist? Because they just take so long to form. It doesn't make any sense to me. And they were never like announced, was the thing that cracks me up, is they weren't like, new to the contest, we're adding mythic crystals. It was just like, we started collecting mythic crystal shards one day from Alliance War, and I was like, what is this? And why is it going to take 4 months for me to open this? I've gotten 3 6-stars now. Nice. Sauron, Overseer, and Man-Thing. Those are great 6-stars, especially if they're like, quote-unquote, free. Hey, Magnus, what's up, man? Thanks for coming by. I duped my Warlock with the side quest one. That's awesome, man. Congrats. I'm kind of an idiot, and I had a chance to dupe my Warlock, and I took Rocket Raccoon instead from a Nexus. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I really should have just taken Warlock, because in Battlegrounds, it's really nice to be able to throw him on defense and know that you're going to degen the opponent. So I think I'm missing out there with the unduped Warlock. But also, Rocket Raccoon buff is coming someday. I hope that they... I mean, he already hits pretty hard, Rocket, you know? So if they give him some utility and maybe a little bit more protection, he could be a really good glass cannon type champion. All three are rank 3s in my Battlegrounds deck now. Wow, that's impressive. 3 Battlegrounds sort of like dual threat champions, right? Yeah, Overseer and Man-Thing especially. That's awesome. And Sauron actually too. He doesn't do too much on attack, but he's an annoying defender, dude. If you don't know what you're doing against Sauron, you're just gonna get clipped by his dash back while he's unblockable, or take an unblockable special 1 and just degen to death. He's very tricky to fight. And I also feel like his dash, his medium dash is like super, super aggressive. So it's very easy to get caught by that. Yeah, I hope that Rabbit does pay off, man. That's why I chose him. Like, I picked a Tech Nexus. I was trying to get Omega Sentinel or Nimrod last month, and of course I didn't. But I saw the Warlock dupe, and I was thinking in my head, like, okay, Sig 20 Warlock is probably not even going to do that much degen damage, so why bother, you know? It's sort of like the opponent in Battlegrounds will maybe see the degeneration icon and get like panicky because like, oh no, but like if you look at how much damage it does at Sig 20, it's hardly noticeable. Now a max Sig Warlock is pretty good. But yeah, I don't know, maybe the Rocket decision was right, but now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna rank Rocket even if he has a buff, but we'll see. Whoops, walked right into that one. So I'm still on rank 3 champions, which I haven't done like a full grind in a long time. I'm curious how many points my 6-star roster can net these days, because it's been a while since I run the whole thing. The only Nexus mistake I made was taking a new Murdock instead of duping Arcus. Yeah, I could see that. I could see the temptation to get Murdock, but agreed, he doesn't really do much. Maybe if you get the right synergy team, he can. And yeah, Arcus, if actually a low Sig Arcus is really good because the tenacity doesn't have a 100% chance to proc. So your opponent really needs to be on their toes, because it's like your stun could get tenacity, but it also might not. And then if it doesn't, then the second time you try to stun, it's like the same risk that there could be tenacity. Whereas if he's max Sig, you get like the guaranteed chance for tenacity. So you're like, okay, this is my one parry that's not going to stick, and then for the rest of the match it is. So actually a low Sig Arcus is kind of a menace on defense. Is Rocket Raccoon the next buff, or is it someone else? I feel like I should know that, and I don't. But they did announce on the forums a few months ago who the next buffs were, and he was definitely one of them that was mentioned. So it might be next month. But if anybody knows for sure or wants to look it up for me, that would be helpful. Since I have rank 4 Rintra, I use Arcus all the time. Nice. And rank 4 Rintra is a beast of a rank up, man. That is certainly a good champion. He's certainly one that I overlooked until I got him and then was like, oh, this is what everyone's talking about. I feel like he just doesn't take damage. It's like weird. Because you can have the special route on and you're just like sitting there taking a special into the block and like no damage is happening to you because you're regenning off the root. It's so crazy. Rocket is next, but it's for November. No buff in October. Ah, gotcha. Thank you, Pirate Jenny, for looking that up for me. I knew it was coming up, but figured it out. Rintra gang, yeah. Moo. Rintra's really good, dude. I was even thinking of taking him to rank 4, but for my account, I went with Omega Sentinel. Because secretly in the back of my mind, I still care about prestige, even though I say I don't. What can I say? The funny thing is Omega Sentinel's not even in the top 5 anymore. That's how fast things are progressing. She's number 6. But it's still really high, and I do really like her Awakened ability. The problem I found with Arcus is everyone has Doom, and yeah, Doom versus Arcus is just like a special 3 fest. I actually really like using Claire against Arcus. I feel like she fully counters his kit, and in a way she might be faster than Doom, because with Doom you have to watch the special 3 animation over and over and over again. But Claire shoots right up to that special 2, and then once you get buff immunity, you just stop all the power gains and the armor breaks. I got Rintra early and took him to rank 4 unduped. He was my first rank 4. Dude, that's awesome. I love that. How do you feel about Rintra's Awakened ability and, you know, like Sig 40 or 60 versus Max Sig? Because I've heard some conflicting things from people. Some people like him low Sig because they think the power gain is too much against a buff matchup, and some people are okay with like low Sig, but as soon as it gets too high, it's too much. Mine is at Sig 40, and I like the power gain. It might mean you have to throw a special 1, but I'm curious, since he was your first rank 4, if you have an opinion on that, and any suggestions for people, because that's definitely a question I get asked. I'm tempted to rank 4 my Rintra 2, fought Hulkling in Battlegrounds yesterday, and crit for 153k, 22 seconds. Yeah, I've had that fight as well, and he's definitely one of the best counters. He's probably the fastest if you can get a big special 2 crit. Even if it doesn't crit though, like you can easily get like an 80k non-critting special 2, which is just crazy to me. And he just has neutralize up all the time, so there's no chance of any buffs leaking through. Maw is the real Arcus killer? Oh, interesting. I'm trying to picture Maw. What's the rotation with Maw then? Do you just like heavy to get the power steal and stuff? I want to start ranking up my Rintra so bad, but he's unawakened. Yeah, well, I think you could do him unawakened and still get a lot of the benefit though. And Captain Easy just wrote something that I'll read in a second that might have some insight on that. I definitely like having silver stars on my champions, but... Oh, you know what I just did was I forgot that this is an unawakened Emma, so I dashed the wrong way. That was funny. I remember like a long time ago when Emma first came out that some people would place her on Alliance War defense unduped so that people's muscle memory would screw them up, which cracks me up. Those were good days. I had a discussion with DLL regarding the SIG. A duped Rintra actually requires a slightly different playstyle. Yeah, I would imagine it's somewhat analogous to like a normal Mystic if you're running MD or not, you know, like you just need to be very aware of your power meter and like throw your specials earlier, you know, like throw a special 1. You can't just go straight to the corner and do 1 special 2 and they're dead, but also I feel like you have more utility and you have the regen and stuff too. Mine is 665. I plan to just throw all my Mystic Stones in him. Cool. I mean, more power gain in some scenarios can definitely help. I still have to get my Tigra to Sig 200. She's at like a weird number now. I think she's at 170 or something. So she's still going to get the next few Mystic Stones. Hopefully this Doom is not running Mystic Dispersion. It looks like he's not, or I'm getting lucky with the AAR. Brintra does not need to be awakened, and Undo Brintra uses special 1 a lot less. It is better to go straight to the special 2. Gotcha. So if he's unduped, you basically, I would assume you want to like bait a special 1 of theirs, and then get them in the corner, get them rooted, and then just go straight to your special 2. But if you're fighting a champ with buffs and you're getting all those power gains, you're probably going to throw a special 1 first, but then that also gives you the Fury, which is nice to have. So yeah, I like the duped ability, and that's kind of how I'm used to playing him. Dupe Rinta needs to throw special 1 more to control the power gain. Yeah, so some people would look at that as like a hindrance, but I don't know. I just sort of am used to playing him that way with the Awaken ability. I have 2 6-star Mystics Alliance Wars. Should I dupe Diablo? Oh, do you mean AG, Awakening Gem? I have 2 6-star Mutant Awakening Gems. Should I dupe Diablo? If you have 2, I think Diablo's a good choice. It kind of depends, like, who else you have. Like, if you, like, Mojo really needs to be awakened. Dr. Voodoo really needs to be awakened. Who I have a lot of Mystics. Instead of going to Aunt May, I'm just gonna look. Yeah, it's tough to say. Like, I would use an Awakening Gem on Tigra if I had a lot of Sigs. I would use it on Doom for sure. I would use it on Hood. I don't have Diablo, but I would definitely... I think I would awaken Diablo. What is his Sig do? Wild Poisoned. Diablo takes less... Oh yeah, dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, I would definitely use it. I thought that was in his base kits. But the reduced damage from all sources... Well, it kind of depends. If you're running, you know, recoil, then you'll definitely want that. Even at Sig 1, that looks really powerful. Yeah, Dr. Voodoo is a bit of an acquired taste, so if you're not a fan... Do you run... If you run recoil occasionally with Diablo, I would definitely awaken him. Even if not, he's very powerful, and I would consider awakening him. That sounds like a good usage. Especially because you have 2. So, like, if you get the new Spider-Man character or something, you could still have one. The Sorcerer Supreme Spider-Man or whatever he's called. Diablo is one of the few champs I don't have a lot of experience with, but I know a lot of people love him, so I would definitely consider it. Let's see. Rintra is interchangeably good for both offensive defense and BGs. I think dupe makes him actually that's a good point. For defense, the dupe is super annoying when you're facing him. Because like even if you dex and he gets the power gain, actually, you don't even need to bait specials. Once Rintra is rooted, he just takes no damage while blocking. That's true, yeah. The only reason I like to bait specials is because then when they're in the corner, you can trade light attacks a little bit easier, which makes the amount of ruptures go up. So whereas like if you bait the special, you're not going to really take that much damage, but it wastes a little bit of time. But sometimes baiting the special beforehand kind of messes up the flow of the fight anyway, so I could see it going either way. Yeah, Dr. Voodoo, I was really excited to pull the 6-star, and I've never ranked him up still. It's just sort of like a thing where like he's sort of like a jack of all trades, master of none. He has really good power gain, he has decent poison damage. But like compared to Diablo, for example, the poison damage isn't that exciting. And then compared to like Archangel, the defensive ability accuracy reduction or the ability accuracy reduction of all abilities is not that exciting. And then compared to Doctor Doom, even like the power control is not that exciting. The power control is unique though because it doesn't require any buffs or debuffs. Or I mean, actually, it does require a buff on them, but not on yourself, right? Or no, I guess it is a buff on yourself. But it doesn't, unlike magic, it doesn't require a power lock debuff on them. It's just like a power steal, so it's pretty powerful. But yeah, I don't see too much Dr. Voodoo being used today, but he's just one of those champions that like he is unusable unawakened. Whereas like a Diablo is somebody that I'm sure you could get some use out of. I have like 15 SIGs in the overflow, but I don't know if I should use it on my rank 4 APOC, my rank 3 Null, SIG 20, or Diablo. Well, Null is one of those champions that has thresholds. So I wouldn't give him, I think it's like every 13 makes a difference on Null. Is that what it is? Yeah, because mine is 65 and yeah, every 13 SIGs gives you more debuffs. So that would mean at 26, Null gets a new debuff. So, and then after that, it would be 39. So if you could get him to 39, then I'll start with 3 debuffs. Diablo or Null, she's suggesting. That makes sense. Yeah, APOC is... Unless if you're planning to like SIG 200 him, APOC isn't super valuable. I do find it valuable in like questing and occasionally in Alliance War. If he takes a fight off, my max SIG one will get like 25% health back, which is pretty nice. So yeah, but I kind of went all in with APOC because he was my first rank 4. So I knew that I was going to give him all the SIG stones anyway. Null needs to be very high SIG. Yeah, I think you're right. My Null is exactly SIG 65 because that's all I could give him. And when he's at SIG 65, he starts with 5 of the debuffs, and I remember like the threshold for starting to reverse the regen with the degen happens at a decent enough place that it made the Abyss fight against Green Goblin manageable for me. But the thing is with Null, you need to, it's kind of pointless to just like feed him stones unless if you can give him 13 at a time. Because there's really no impact until you get to a new debuff threshold. Yeah, I do think APOC Sig is underrated though. Because if it's maxed out, like I said, you get like 25% of your health bar back if you give him a rest for 2 fights. And the nature of questing these days is that usually you want to kind of share the load, in my opinion. There's occasionally something like, variant 8 where they wanted you to use like one champ for the whole lane. But in a lot of quests, you kind of build a team where they can all do stuff. And then you can kind of like give APOC a rest, and then when he comes back, you save some potions. That's pretty nice. And that happens to me in Alliance War a lot too. Like if I'm taking a bunch of fights, I'll do a couple with APOC, then do a couple with somebody else. But I would imagine if it's too low of a SIG, it's not really a big impact. So he doesn't seem like someone that I would like slowly feed stones with. It would sort of be like if I became rich all of a sudden with a lot of SIG stones and I could like take him from 20 to 200 or something, then that would be a really noticeable impact. Let's see. Ollie says, my APOC is SIG 120 and I regret not using those stones for Namor and Omega Red. I could see that for sure, because those champs, unlike APOC, they need the SIG just to like play the match. Namor without SIG 200 is almost unusable. I mean, you could argue that if he's like around 160 or 180, you could still somewhat bypass some of the danger that he bypasses, but it would be a little risky, you know? And yeah, Omega Red for sure, and especially Ollie. I think you still run suicides occasionally or sometimes. So if that's true, Omega Red is like the king. He can take almost anybody if you run recoil. All right, so we've made it into the rank 1s now in the arena. Hey Manny, what's up? Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I would prefer using them when I pull Kitty. That makes sense. Kitty has a pretty good SIG ability. Kitty definitely needs to be, well, I wouldn't say needs to be, but if you want to use her in like very high-end content, you want her at least SIG 1. Because then she gets the damage reduction goes up to 100% instead of 80%. Which, like, 80% is still a lot, but it's not 100%. So you definitely want her awakened. But if you want to do like the cheese technique of her getting hit while phased and just cycling special 3s, then you need her at max SIG. And there are times in the contest when that comes up, like for example this Dragon Man boss that has True Sense. It's kind of funny that True Sense was made to make Quake and Ghost stopped, but True Sense actually helps Kitty because it allows her to do the special 3 cheese. Oh, this jerk is running Heimdall. Alright. Alright. Came back to the game last week after a 1-year-long break. Nice. Curious if anything about the game in particular drew you back in, or if it was just like personal life type thing. I'm currently on, I would say I'm on a little bit of a break from like pushing in the game, but I'm actually enjoying the game more than I ever have in recent years because Alliance War and Alliance Quest have become fun again because they're like very low pressure. And I'm able to kind of focus on some other stuff. So I've been streaming a little bit more lately. I've been having fun in Battlegrounds. I'm doing Vegas tournament. And I'm approaching content in a way where I'm like using my whole roster, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I use recoil for normal play. For BGs, I removed them and willpower and added max MD, max limber, and unfazed. Unfazed is a brutal mastery for Elsa Bloodstone. She gets smacked when people run that. That's smart. Jugs is now a god. Yeah, Juggernaut is really good. I haven't tested him too much, but if you can play aggressively, it's actually quite impressive. If Yate is still out there, he beat me in Battlegrounds with his Juggernaut once. And it was a match that I was like not expecting to lose to. Cracked me up. I was watching She-Hulk series and Thor Love and Thunder and saw that Gore had been adding to the game, so decided to come back. Nice, man. That's exciting. Gore, we were talking about him earlier, I think he disappointed some people with the design, but now that some people have started to use him in Battlegrounds, there's actually a little bit of a use for him, and it's pretty cool. There we go. I knew Yate would come as soon as we were talking about Jugs. Juggernaut's quite good now, and, well, I'll just say, if there was a relic for Juggernaut, I would be pretty excited, but we don't know yet. How many champs mechanics have been changed? There are quite a few, and actually one of them is Howard the Duck. He has this, like, mashing ability now, where if you tap the left side of the screen, you get effects like Furies and Armor Breaks and stuff. It's pretty cool. But there are a lot of champions that have been buffed over the years. It's tough to even say how many, and some of them are very minor and not super noticeable. But some of them are quite good. Like Magneto is now one of the best champs in the game. And Venompool is now really good. For example. Like Hulkbuster is really fun. He's also been changed. Trying to think of some other ones of recent times. Nebula is really good now. Battlegrounds is a fun thing, much better than Incursions. Yeah, and Incursions, if you hadn't heard, they're taking it offline for a little bit, but when it comes back, they're going to have solo Incursions where you can just not have to partner up and still collect the rewards, which is pretty cool. He's good for Battlegrounds with the crazy special 2 and chance to nullify on contact. I wonder what he's like at max sig. Yeah. Remind me, what does his signature ability do? I left the game after Shang-Chi and Mr. Negative were added. Oh, okay. So that wasn't that long ago. That was like a year ago, you said? Yeah, Storm is really good. Falcon is really good. That's true. Just for the record, Ollie, I think I could say this without any contradiction here. She was the earliest person on Falcon that I know in liking the buff. Like before Barrowman, before Legacy, before Falcon became really popular, she was on it. And I don't think that's the first champ for you, right? You're actually Mole Man too. She's the only person I know that used Mole Man before his buff effectively, and then after the buff he even got better. Oh, Sig is percent chance to nullify. Yeah, that does seem like if he was Sig 200, that would be worth. Ant-Man also got a buff. I'm a little bit behind on my champion testing because I haven't given Ant-Man much of a look yet. But he seems kind of like a better Yellow Jacket in a weird way. It's cool. The glancing is turned into a debuff. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Kingpin is an absolute beast. Storm is amazing. Hood is incredible. I love Hood. Nebula, King Groot, Ronan, and Gamora are like mid-tier buffs. Odin, yeah, Odin got buffed like right out of the gate. She-Hulk, she was one of the older buffs with Spider-Gwen. I think, yeah, May or June last year. That sounds about right. Yep. Yondu's pretty good now. Not a lot of people are giving him much attention. And Diablo too, we were talking about him earlier. He got a really good buff. Kingpin is definitely one of the best buffs though. Ultron is really good too. Guillotine is now like one of the best champs in the Mystic Quest. Carnage got a buff a long time ago, and he's going to be buffed by the Relic system, apparently. So yeah, we definitely got... It's definitely going in the right direction. I mean, there's still so many champs that are just complete trash, but... I don't know. I'm fairly optimistic that all of the champs this year are so good that the basic pool is just, it's getting better and better, you know? Like, there's less chance of getting an absolute terrible, terrible champ. Yeah, the list just goes on and on. War Machine is pretty good now. Yeah, Diablo is now one of the best Mystic champions, believe it or not. He has incredible poison damage, he has Nullify from a distance, he has energy resistance, he has crazy regen, lots of damage per hit, and he benefits from Mystic Dispersion, and he benefits from running, you know, suicides. It's like, he's kind of insane. Deadpool X-Force has new animations, and he's also a new champion, but most people are pretty underwhelmed by the changes with him. You have to, like, walk up to them, and that's really hard to do without getting smacked. It reminds me of Nova a little bit. One of his pre-fights... Let me show you the text. I don't have a Diablo, so I don't know for sure. But, let's find him real quick. And someone else can chime in if they know Diablo better than me, how the pre-fight works. Essence of Null. Every 2 seconds, 100% chance to nullify one buff on the opponent. So if you do the, these are his pre-fights basically, and then when you launch a special attack, you get this like potion that he drinks. Yeah, so you can choose the ingredients of your flask basically in the pre-fight screen, and then yeah, every 2 seconds 100% chance to nullify. So that's one of the ones that you can do. And then yeah, you can do immunity to armor break for Terrax fights, and then the energy damage one is pretty awesome too. If you run suicides, you definitely want him awakened. And even if not, you probably want him awakened. He's one of those champions that if you run suicides, he's like absolutely bonkers. But even if you don't and you run Mystic Dispersion, he's pretty good. Alright, so we are doing pretty good here. We're almost at the 6 million. I guess Arena's not as painful as I remember it being. It must just be because we're hanging out and talking to people instead of just sitting on the couch doing nothing, right? Mangog is a champion that definitely needs a buff. Nice. So now I have the two best Mystic champs as 6-star Diablo and Clairvoyant. I would buy that. I mean, Doom is pretty good too, though. And Rintra's pretty darn good too. But Clairvoyant's one of my favorites. and she's always been one of my favorites. Yeah, Iron Fist buff would be good. Iron Fist was pretty good before 12.0 came out in 2017. If anybody's been playing the game that long, his armor break used to be pretty powerful, but now it's really not. Yeah, I agree. I feel like Claire is very unique in what she can do. A little bit of power control, the regen, the immunities, and her incinerate phase is really, really good for getting around damage caps. Like safeguard or, you know, bulwark meta, for example. When you throw the special 2 in the incinerate mode, it's one of my favorite things about her is the way she just kind of like gets around damage like that. So I was very happy to finally get Clairvoyant fairly recently. It was like right before I finished 7.4. I finally got her and I duped her even. So she went straight to rank 3, no questions. And her buff immunity gets around a lot of the like the nullify punishing nodes like Return Policy and Mystic Ward, because buff immunity is its own thing. Yeah, I want to get Wiccan too, actually. I do have Claire and Hood, though. But Wiccan, if you really want to see some good Wiccan gameplay, go check out the YouTuber MU8S. He recently fought Legacy in Battlegrounds and used Wiccan a little bit. He really has a good mastery over Wiccan. Claire was my first account changing 6-star. Nice. I could see that, man. She is very powerful. When I finished Abyss of Legends, I picked a Mystic Nexus, and I actually got Claire and Doom as options, and I actually really had to think about it, and I ended up going Doom, but I kind of always regretted it, and then never got Claire until very recently, so I felt like I was being punished for not going with Claire there. But she's good. Hood is an absolute monster, though, and I've really grown to appreciate how good Hood is. Especially in Battlegrounds, because you can just, like, YOLO all your bullets and not worry about preserving any of them. Because it's literally just one fight. It's almost like he was built for it. And for stuff like now with Mighty Charge, it doesn't matter, because none of his damage comes from debuffs. You can never have enough neutralized champs. Yeah, I agree. I feel like Tigra might still be the best, but you know, having champs that have neutralized that don't require like very skillful gameplay, if that makes sense, is also good. Like Rintra is so tanky, whereas Tigra can bypass a lot more BS in the game, but like one mistake and you're dead, you know? Whereas Rintra, you can just keep taking mistakes and never die. He's crazy. My first 6-star was Murdock. That might have been cool back in the day, but he hasn't really grown too often. He usually just shows up as like an annoying boss, like an EOP right now. I got my first 6-star dupe today, and it was Darkhawk. That's pretty cool. He's definitely underrated. Darkhawk, when he came out, was very good. But then after him came champs like Mysterio and Warlock and such, and he kind of became outdated very quickly. Let's see, I just duped my 6-star Hood this morning. You were tempting me to rank 3M. I would. I mean, wonder if I still have the screenshot. It was Hood versus Mephisto in Battlegrounds for me, and it was Torch versus Mephisto by my opponent, and Hood won. Because I not only was basically the same time, but I ended with 100% health. And it's because he does have a little bit of ability accuracy when he's invisible. And he has a little bit of regen off of the staggers expiring. Not to mention a little bit of power control, and that he does big bursts of damage. So Hood is quite good. And definitely, like, for facing Hulkling, if you don't have a neutralized champ, Hood is probably the next best option, along with Claire. But like Doom versus Hulkling is a little bit of a nightmare. Like, I don't recommend it. Whoops, I messed that up. Daredevil Hell's Kitchen is one that I haven't really gotten the hang of yet. Tigra is better as an attacker than Rintra. Rintra is a bit more balanced. Yeah, I agree. And there are some champions that it's very hard to use Tigra because of just like their animations. You know, there's ways to use her against everybody, but you know, if it doesn't quite line up, then she loses a little bit of her value if you can't heavy counter and stuff, for example. So now I can use him in Battlegrounds since Armor Breaks isn't available. Right. Yeah, the no armor break piece of Bulwark is actually one of the more annoying things. It's why like Killmonger is such a good defender in this meta. And it's why like Warlock is a way worse attacker in the meta. Because without the armor breaks on the special 2, he really doesn't hit that hard. Darkhawk needs a Night Thrasher synergy. He does, and even the problem is even if you use it, it's a bit of a roll of the dice because you don't know which mode you're going to start in. So you obviously want the, I think it's stealth mode, which is the combat power rate one, so then you can shoot up to a special 1. I mean a special 3. But yeah, Darkhawk, my friend B McG has a rank 4 Darkhawk, I think. And the damage in null mode for a rank 4 Sig 200 is crazy. It's awesome. I've been using Overseer for Mephisto. Oh, cool. Banning Torch 100% of the time. Yeah, I actually ban Torch a lot as well. I think, though, that when I banned Torch against Nick 136, it's actually what did me in, because I should have been banning his more suicides friendly attackers like Hercules and Diablo and Omega Red, but that's just me. Tigra can interrupt Unstoppable, which makes her good versus Thing. Rintra is not good versus Thing. I would definitely agree with you there. Tigra versus Thing is a super classic matchup, and it looks like we got Zuzu in the chat. What's up, my friend? Thanks for coming by. Nice to see you. Speaking of Tigra, he is one of the best Tigra players I know. And he could probably chime in on Tigra versus Thing, because that is probably a matchup he's done many a time. I've gotten pretty good at Tigra versus Apocalypse, I gotta say. I've practiced that one a lot, and she's like my go-to in Battlegrounds for Apocalypse. What is the next meta? So right now, if you are not in Gladiator Circuit, then you're stuck with Bulwark Explosive Personality forever. But if you have gone to Gladiator Circuit, you're currently on the Mighty Charge meta. It also has Protect, but like I don't know if Protect is working because I feel like I haven't activated Protect once. But I'm not saying anything about that. And then the next one for week 4 is going to be Flow, which is probably going to be pretty darn annoying, I gotta say. When we had Flow War meta, it was like seriously one of the worst times ever. Because if they just turtle, you're dead. It's just like power gain mess. So I'm really gonna have to think about my deck for flow because like you're gonna want your mystics and power controllers and things like that. I banned Nyx, Karnak, and Joe Fixit. That's not a bad idea because those are his rank 4s. I definitely had a lot of answers to Joe Fixit. But like looking back, I banned his Torch just because I don't have Torch in my deck, and I thought that Torch is like an automatic win. But because he does run Recoil, Torch isn't as potent as, say, like, you know, his Diablo is going to finish with 100% health every fight and probably get it over in 30 seconds. His Omega Red, same thing, you know. So, yeah. Definitely didn't play that one too well. Yeah, man. Of course, I've seen you play with her. I don't think it was as much of a question as Captain Easy was just saying how Tigra has the way of dealing with the unstoppable on thing because of the guaranteed neutralize, and how Rintra is good against Cosmics, like arguably better than Tigra in some matchups, but against Thing, Rintra is not going to work because you can't always guarantee that you're going to stop the unstoppable, if that makes sense. My match with Nick was so close to the wire. Yeah, man. Well, it's on my channel if you want to watch my match with Nick. He just absolutely destroyed me. Like, I think he won 2-0 on 2 matches. I won the first one. And then at the very end, I had a chance to come back, and I was actually doing Apocalypse versus Nick Fury, and it was going exceptionally fast. Like, I thought I was gonna lose because Apocalypse is usually pretty slow in Battlegrounds, but I actually was having a perfect match until the very end. He was holding a special 2 and just like turtling up, not throwing it. And I probably wasted like 8 seconds, which was enough for me to just barely lose, so I couldn't pull myself back on. It was rough. But honestly, I had already lost well before that, so to say like that's the reason I lost isn't true at all. But yeah, that was fun, man. Nick's a really good player. I'm kind of like silently rooting for him to beat Clown, so I think it'd be fun if we both advanced and got a rematch. Because I'd definitely do some stuff differently. Fintech is my favorite Tiger player. I mean, Fintech is an absolute monster for sure. Okay, I'm actually going to lose an arena match here, though, if I'm not careful. Let's just get this. Get a little bit of health back. There we go. Fintech, I've been watching a lot for the Kitty Pride play lately. Fintech just did a complete takedown with Kitty, I think, or with Kitty and Tigra of Eternity of Pain item list. It was great. I will just give me 1 second. I just gotta go check something. Be right back. All right. All good. All good. All right, let's see. Yeah, Rintra shines when you can just go ham, hitting block. Hitting thing mindlessly is a sure way to die. Absolutely. Yeah, so I do agree with something you said earlier, like the more neutralized, the better. Neutralize is definitely one of those abilities that is sort of the new meta in the game. In terms of just another option besides nullify, where sometimes it's preferable to have neutralize, like against Gallon, against Hulkling. that's just a much better way to deal with buffs. But having, I think, two neutralized champs, whether that's like Wiccan and Tigra or Rintra and Tigra, I think you're going to basically have all your neutralized needs covered. And against most Cosmics, Rintra has the additional ability of the 200% ability accuracy, which means if you're going up against a node with increased ability accuracy, like Aspect of Evolution or something, then Rintra's neutralize is still going to work, which is pretty awesome. Since you mentioned, I use Tigra a lot unless she is banned, but some very nice kills that I think I must look suspicious on the other end. Yeah, I know Tigra can go super fast. Like if you get those heavy counters early, and get to a special 2, it's like the match is over. So I'm sure people are like, no way, how did you get that down so fast? Tournament's an amazing idea. Yeah, I gotta definitely tell Vega how much you appreciate it, because he's putting in so much work. It's crazy to think about how many hours that dude is spending on it. Not only just the commentating and all that, but like just organizing it is taking a lot. But he's really doing it out of the kindness of his heart for the community and for his friends, you know. Like I'm sure he's gaining some benefit from it, obviously, like more people tuning into the channel, etc. But like he's not doing it for that. He's doing it because he loves the game and he loves his friends, and he wants to like have fun, you know. And I don't know, I just really love that guy. Really respect it. So if you're enjoying the tournament, just keep checking it out, and make sure you let him know. I've uploaded a compilation of fights with her, intend to make a part 2. Nice, I'll have to check that out. If it's on YouTube, Zuzu, feel free to link it in the chat, man. You guys should go sub to Azuline there, Zuzu. He's a really cool player. He's in SSX now. He's actually he's in the battle group that I used to be in, and he's an officer in the battle group that I used to be in. So in like a weird, not exact way, he was kind of my replacement. So good things happening over there for sure. But yeah, man, if you want to link that video of Tigra, feel free to do that in the chat, and we'll point people in that direction. Let's see, Ollie, I've been using Herc a lot for Thing. Oh yeah, I'm sure that works great. Thing's heavy, is easy to bait. Yep, you can get your 2 feats, do it 6 times, and you're at 12 really quick. And then 1 special 2. Yeah, I can see that. Hercules is an unstoppable force in this game right now. Man, Hercules, dude, I can't believe how much Hercules can still wreck this week's Eternity of Pain, right? Because Murdock has basically an ability where like the true sense isn't going to work. So that's one thing. Like the auto block stopping ability of Hercules doesn't work there. Penny Parker is the same thing, right? Because she's immune to true sense, so she doesn't. Her auto block can't be stopped by Herc. And then the last fight is a Dragon Man who, you know, is a mystic and is supposed to be punishing when you have cruelties and precisions on you, and has crazy power gain and unstoppable and unblockable. So like a cosmic powerhouse champion is not supposed to be the counter for Dragon Man. And yet, even with those 3 fights, Hercules is one of the best options for 100%ing the quest. So it just, it goes to show like how overpowered that guy is. It's just absolutely crazy. Oh, well, there's one way we can change that. I think we can make Zuzu is now a moderator. So there you go. Let's see, do we type something else? Let me make sure I gave you the wrench correctly. I wish I could play Tiger. There we go. You got your wrench, man. Congrats. I wish I could play Tiger like a pro. Actually, we should make Ollie a mod too. She's been here for almost all the streams. Nice. Yeah, go check out Zuzu's channel, man. I'm assuming you're going to be doing war videos. Those are always fun. I was thinking of doing war videos for like the tier 4 wars, but it's usually just like Doctor Doom and Apocalypse absolutely destroy somebody. And it's like, how much do people want to see that? I don't know. Probably not that much. If I ever have an interesting fight, I'll definitely play it. Bishop's pretty good, man. Yeah, of course, man. Herc is just a stupid champ, especially with his immortality. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the problem with Herc, right, is that, and this may not be a problem to you, and that's actually fine. Like, this isn't even like a disagreeing thing, but like, in my opinion, when you have Herc available, it kind of dissuades you from using other champions sometimes, you know, that like may actually be a good RPG counter. So it doesn't foster creativity. But at the same time, sometimes this game just has kind of like BS nodes, and it's really nice to have that level of power. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not against it, but I do think like from a design standpoint for the game, it's really difficult for the quest designers to design fights that he doesn't just walk over. And then sometimes that means like the Eternity of Pain fights are actually going to be pretty difficult because they have to somehow stop Herc from just completely rolling through it. But then if you want to use other champions, it's like they're not quite living up to what you want them to be. So it just makes the designer's job a little bit harder when you have such an overpowered champ like that. But at the same time, like, you can do some really, really fun things with Hercules. And I have a rank 3 Hercules, and I definitely do enjoy using him on occasion. That's cool that you didn't use him in 8.1 that much, though. Because 8.1 is kind of designed to use your whole roster, in my opinion. Like, 8.1 has certain buffs to certain champions and certain classes and such, so that you can really have a little bit more fun with it. It's kind of like when 7.1 first came out, I was surprised how little I needed to use Quake, you know, because I was really big into Quake in her heyday. And, you know, in Act 6, it was like Quake and Ghostland all the time. But then like Act 7 came out and they were encouraging the different, you know, the different counters and like interactions that buffed up different types of champs. And it was like, oh, I don't have to use Quake. And that was actually kind of fun. The most unique path that I found in 8.1 was that one where you had to like take all the block damage from the projectiles and then they killed themselves. That was kind of fun. It was weird though. I've never seen a node like that. I don't know if you guys know the lane I'm talking about. It had like Falcon and Cable on it, and you had to just like block their specials, and if you didn't block them, then you would take damage, but if you block them, then they would take damage. It's pretty funny. After playing map 8 for so long, I was using Hercules for everything. I'm happy to have others in AQ. Yeah. Now, AQ is so boring and repetitive that, like, I actually think if you're using Herc for AQ, it's, like, literally the perfect AQ champ, you know? Because you can just do it mindlessly, and it's not meant to be, like, engaging and fun and everything. So, I even use him in map 6 right now. Alright, let's catch up a little bit here. My rank 3 Bishop goes crazy. Yeah, I think Bishop's going to have to be my next mutant rank up. I'm going to have to figure out how to get him awakened and get him ranked. Speaking of hard work designers put in the game, I really love the effort put into the Act 7 and 8 bosses, aside from Gwen Pyrian, who is Magneto Cheese. Yeah, I like, I really like Citalis, man. I got to beta test her, and I had a blast doing that, and I was really excited for when other people got to try her. Herc is stupid because he takes fights that he has no business taking 100%. However, I do agree that he is good to have in your roster and getting through some yeah, I think we 100% agree on that one. It's like he's a tool to have, and you can choose how often you want to use him. And there are some days where I just don't have time, man. I don't have time to use Venom Pool or, somebody else that's not as fast. And it's like, it's just going to be Herc time. My MVP was probably APOC. Nice. Are we talking about 8.1 still? I also used to play Quake all the time. Nice, yeah. Yeah, I remember that lane. I lost so much health from instinctually dexing. Yeah, I know. I was doing that too. Sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, my favorite path was the disarmed heavy attack. You counter the defender's heavy, and then, oh, yeah. Where that you had to heavy counter and stuff. That was cool. Nice. Doom with Diablo synergy. Love it. All right. I think we just got the... Did we just get 4-star Immortal Iron Man? Yes. All right. So at least we have that. I didn't buy the early access, so I don't have the 5-star. But he definitely looks crazy, man. Immortal Iron Man looks really freaking good. I'm definitely gonna want to get that guy, but he's not coming until the next featured, which is much farther down the line, unfortunately. Like, what, 4 months away or so? And I don't think I can hoard my shards all the way till then. That would be a little crazy. Like, because I definitely want Gallon and Quicksilver and Valkyrie. And Wiccan, probably, to be honest. Valkyrie is, like, the best unstoppable counter in the game. Like, I think people are sleeping on that right now. If you have her at 6200, she just outright stops unstoppable without needing like a slow debuff or anything, man. It's crazy. She was really fun to test for me. I don't know how practical she's going to be with her like hitting of the block and everything, but I think they did a great job with her. Show me that 8.1 node. I don't remember where it was. But again, like you could literally use any champion, and it was all champions that had bullets, and you had to just stand close to them, and then they would throw their special one. And if you fully blocked the special one, then you would do direct damage to them or something. But yeah, it was counterintuitive because I'm so used to like dashing out of Cable's special one, for example, and you just had to like sit there and take it in the block, and then he would just kill himself. I don't know if that's like super creative design, but it's just something we've never seen before, so at least they're still innovating. Let's see, Massacre, can we look at the synergies? Yeah, give me a second and I'll pull that up to see which synergies the 5-star has. I mean the 4-star. Alright, let's see. Oh man, I've got so many champs. Like all these 2-stars aren't leveled yet. My OCD is killing me. Alright, so we have the Doom synergy, we have the Iron Man synergies, we have the Reed and the Fantastic Four synergy, we have Doctor Strange, and we have Mephisto. So let me just check on May real quick to see if we're missing any. Aunt Male. Good job. That's definitely wrong. Let me see if there's any that we're missing here. Just give me a second. Let me see if I can... Well, no, I'm not going to worry about screen sharing it. Sorry, I'm not that technically savvy. All right, 2022 champs. Immortal starts with an I. Okay. Let's see. There's one with, I guess, the Penny one. There seems to be one with Penny Parker that's not here. And that's it. So it looks like all the synergies are here except for Penny Parker. There's one whenever one of either champion's personal shocks or incinerates is prevented by an immunity, they inflict a corresponding incinerate or shock respectively. These incinerates still count as shocks for the purpose of Iron Man's abilities. Interesting. So it's like if they're... It basically allows you to use the other debuff if they're immune to one of the debuffs. So that would mean he can do the heavy cheese with an incinerate instead. That's interesting. But that, it looks like everything else is in the kit for the 4-star. So of those, let's take a look back in game then. Hold on. Found it 8.1.5. Nice. Yeah, it looks like the Penny Parker one is not in the game. Sorry, Masacre. But I do like the Reed one. Imprison, that's the thing that Anti-Venom has. And yeah, that's huge for Penny too, right? Because that means that if they're Incinerate immune, she can actually do damage. Are there any champs that are Incinerate and Shock immune? I don't even think there are. Except for like Emma Frost, right? In her original phase. So, okay. Thanks, Zuzu. Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, of course. Glad we got you a couple subs. Definitely check him out. And thank you for your support, man. Let's see. I know you're a big Elsa fan. I am too, but her degen is silly. I do not think that was by design to kill every non-mutant. Yes, I agree, and I actually personally hate that interaction, and that interaction actually screwed up my match so badly against Nick the other day because I had to plan against his 5-star Elsa in Battlegrounds. It's like I had to draft a mutant, right? So it really kind of messed up my draft strategy because no matter what kind of counters I wanted to draft, I always had to make sure that there was one mutant, and he ended up banning 3 of my mutants every time. So it was like a very rare chance of getting a mutant. I had to just swoop and pick them up right away. Yeah, I don't like that interaction. It's just not, it's not fun that you can have somebody that counters Elsa, but even whatever you do, unless if you're a mutant, you just like take 90% damage immediately. I feel like they should give it the same treatment that they gave Cable when he is running Double Edge Mastery, which is that you don't get degened at the start of the fight. Like, I believe, you know, if you're using a champ, like if you try to use Nick Fury versus Elsa, for example, and you put the bleeds on her yourself, that's kind of like on you, right? That's like your fault for choosing that counter, and I think you should get degened. But for just starting a fight when the opponent happens to be running suicides and losing all of your health, that's really not fun. So yeah, I would totally love that change. And since I personally don't run that mastery that often, you know, my love for Elsa is much more because of her abilities on offense and not that. All right, mate, any good counter besides Herc on map 8 path King Groot node where tech and science champ do 100% damage and with encroaching stun? How would Overseer work there? Because he gets the stun immunity when he throws specials, maybe? That would be my first My first bet there. Um, Tech or science and encroaching stun. There's yeah, the only science champ I can think of that has some kind of stun immunity is Overseer. So I would maybe consider him for that path. Because you're not going to want to use a tech champ against King Groot. You could also, potentially go with somebody like Void and just make sure you always have a special one ready when it's coming around for the encroaching stun timer. Because Void will help with the heal reversal. You could probably use Scorpion because he has enough debuffs that he'll be able to stop King Groot, and you can steal some of the healing with his health steal. So those are just my first things that come to mind for that node. Hey, Madrox, what's up, man? Sorry, I missed seeing you show up. Let's see. You should have given up on your Elsa and just banned her. Yeah, you know what? I honestly thought about that, and it was annoying, dude. And I don't think I played it perfectly though, with my bans. And then I just felt like every time I was playing from behind because I was like drafting poorly. But yeah, Nick definitely beat me. Like, I want to give him full credit for running recoil and literally making zero mistakes. That's the thing, is when you run recoil, you can't really make mistakes because you're already going to lose a little bit of health every match. But if you finish really quickly and you still have 90% health, then you're probably going to win. Okay, for that block node, I brought sorry, where are we? Okay, Apoc, Kitty, Tiger, and Nimrod, Omega Sentinel. That sounds fun. I don't remember the team I used, but I think I just picked like anybody and just took the block damage. Super Scroll. Remind me, Coat Hanger, what were we talking about Super Scroll about? They also trap in Battleground sucks. Yeah, I agree. It's like, it's just not fun, right? It just sort of like forces you to use a mutant. But it is part of the game. It's part of the planning you have to do. And the sad thing was I think I only won one match with Elsa. It was like Elsa versus Terrax, which is very good for her, but it was almost not worth having my own. Like, I could have maybe banned Elsa, like you said. Oh yeah, Super Scroll. Incinerate and Shock Immune, correct. There we go. See, I need like the brains of many summoners to keep all this knowledge straight. And we're seeing more and more like poison and shock immune, which is cool. Like Hulkling and Scorpion has the ability to be poison and shock, and Nebula as well. I think that's a really, really interesting combination, because then you can take like Man-Thing on a shock node or something like that in war. I swapped Omega Sentinel for White Mags for the pre-fight for Daredevil. Oh, cool. Yeah, that probably works. I think I only fought that Daredevil Hell's Kitchen one time. My problem with the Act 8 stuff is like I do it and I just kind of solve it as I'm doing it. Like, I don't really make these really long plans. I'm just kind of like, let's see, let's look at this node. Oh yeah, I'm going to use blah blah blah, this team. And then because of that, I kind of forget it right away. So like people are like, hey, who'd you use for so and so boss? And I'm like, I have no idea. So the content is a little bit more like forgettable than the old Act 6 type stuff. Like I will never forget that freaking Domino with selective time stream mini boss in Act 6, or like the Mysterio with acid wash, like I'm never gonna forget those fights, and that was years ago. But like, you ask me about any random boss in Act 7 or Act 8, and I'm probably not going to remember it. That's the problem. I'm back. Thought my pups were fighting, but false alarm. Oh man, that's too real. My dog is fast asleep right now, but sometimes when I stream, he gets really stressed out just because like he thinks I'm on the phone with someone or something because I'm talking, and then he starts like trying to dig a hole into the rug and like make a bed on the rug. You know when dogs do that, and I'm just like, dude, you're ruining my rug. Kabam had to fix Archangel because of his interaction with suicides. Was that an Archangel thing? Because Archangel can, if the opponent has suicides, he can still like immediately get neurotoxins off. Kabam fixed Cable, I know, because Cable would, if he had the double edge on himself, then he would immediately degen the opponent, which was like really annoying. But then Elsa is the same thing, only even worse, because the degen lasts a really long time, and it's going to take away like 90% of your health in some scenarios. Act 8 felt to me like an extended CAV-EQ Explorer. Sometimes I didn't even switch team, kept the same one, and kept rolling. Yeah, I agree with that. I tried to just read, like, I'm getting good at skimming the nodes fast enough to be like see the keywords and then just pick a team and not have to like really read it to the T. And then like if for some reason I messed up and I picked the wrong type of champ, I'll just hit pause and then you can read the node now in the pause screen, which is really nice. So if I'm like, wait, what the heck did I do here? Then I can double check. But yeah, I agree. It did feel a lot like CAV-EQ. They even stole some of the nodes from CAV-EQ, which I thought was maybe a little lazy, but then I was thinking about it more and I was like, actually, that's kind of nice because this is something I'm used to. You know, if I'm like, oh, this is just the cosmic node that I've fought a million times, so I don't really need to read it. I just know what to do. And then they added those weapon nodes, which were way easier to deal with versus Paradox. So I didn't really have any complaints about those. I did swap the Wasp and Herc once each, and the Daredevil Hell's Kitchen every other one. Actually, now that you reminded me which the other two bosses were, I did fight Daredevil Hell's Kitchen every time. See, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't remember. I only dealt with that Wasp one time. I remember her being kind of annoying. And Herc, I might have used Tiger for. I don't know. But again, I don't even remember this. Icarus. Yes. Yes. Icarus is also Incinerate and Shock Immune. This is what I mean. Like, you guys are like encyclopedias here. I can't keep all this stuff in my mind. Did that contact like last week. Completely forgot everything. Yeah, Madrox, I'm with you. I'm just like... I mean, it was like legitimately kind of fun when I was doing it, though. I even did some of it on stream, and like I knocked it out pretty quickly, and I got an amazing rewards opening. If you want to see what I got, I posted the video a couple days ago. So like I had a really good time, but that is going to be my phone hard quitting. So hold on one sec. What is that called when that happens? There's a name for that when the game crashes like that. It's like a something leak. There's a technical term for that when like it just there's too many processes on the computer and it just like force quits itself. And my mind is blanking as to what that's called. It's not a data leak. Either way, that still happens in the game when you play Arena too much, basically. Let's see. Yeah, it was pull selective time stream domino. I remember using Hyperion and just spamming special ones, and then like I got her down to like 5% health, and then crit failed my incinerates, and then she went back up to 100% health, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, that fight, and what else? Wasn't there... There was like a man thing that was really annoying. Like, did it have the... That's gonna sting node on it or something? There were just some nodes in Act 6 that were just hilarious. And then not to mention like 6.2.5, the original quest with the Do Not Go Gentle node and the Mordo boss and the class gates and everything. Like, original Act 6 was a monster to get through if you were around during that time. He used to convert them immediately into Neuros. Oh, okay. Both of them are cosmic. Normally you wouldn't use Penny for them. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's good to know the champs that have those two. Let's see. Ollie says if you put the points in double edge before Liquid Courage, then AA wouldn't neuro... Oh, right. I gotcha. Yeah, AA used to make... He would neurotoxin you if you had it on. That's right. It was only if you did Liquid Courage first. Thanks for helping me remember that interaction. It's all coming back to me now. Okay, I'm a little behind here. While I missed the hard nodes in Act 6, I think that the game has come to a place where they can no longer make hard or memorable fights, because then they will just be fights for nerfs in the forums. Well, I mean, they've changed the whole way everything works, where the story content is much more streamlined so that, like, the quote-unquote average summoner, I feel like most of you that are watching YouTube and interacting in the community, like, you guys are all, guys and girls, are all more skilled and involved in this game than, like, average Joe MCOC player. So I think we can all kind of talk about that together, that like maybe some of us miss some of those hard nodes, but they definitely tried to make act content more streamlined so that the core story of the game is more accessible to more players, and there's a way to get rewards. Oh, oops, I didn't want to do 5 stars. That's my bad. I got to filter again. But they are replacing some of that with stuff like Eternity of Pain and Karina's challenges and stuff like Grandmaster's Gauntlet. And the good thing about Eternity of Pain is the design is I mean, it's pretty difficult, at least for me. Like, some of you guys might be total studs and getting through it itemless, but for me, it's a little bit of a challenge for me. But it costs 0 energy, and it's just one fight, and you can repeat it as much as you want. I know a lot of people like to just get it done the first day, but you have a whole week or 3 weeks to get it done. And hopefully those become the sort of like memorable fights. And then, when Act 8 comes out, I think a lot of us have nostalgia for Act 6, but if you really remember how you were feeling when you were doing Act 6, I'm sure you were pretty salty and cussing at the game yourself. So the cool thing about it is that for anybody who did original Act 6, it's a little bit of like a badge of courage, right? It's like, hey, I got through original Act 6. I fought the champion before he was nerfed, and it's like, that's something no one can ever take away from you. It's a pretty cool experience, right? So that's cool. It's something that people that were around in that era can share with one another. But I am kind of glad the way the game's going overall. For game's longevity... Wait, hold on. Wow, a lot of chats here. In relation to progressing players who complete and move on instead of exploring, it kind of makes sense, but sort of wish there were at least a few pain fights where the community can come together and think of creative counters. Yeah, it may have gone a little bit too far in the, because like Act 8 felt easier than Act 7 so far, and now given 8 point the point 1 of any new act is usually the easiest by far. Like if you think back to 5.1, 6.1, 7.1, they are substantially easier than the rest. But overall, it was pretty darn easy. And some of it is probably because it wasn't that different than Act 7, and our rosters are just more expanded. Like, a lot of us didn't have as many rank 4s when we were going through Act 7, you know? Original Act 6 made my soul hurt, yeah. But it did force me to focus on widening my roster. Yeah, that's the one thing, is like, it definitely made you require like a very, very specific RPG counter. Act 6 before was wild. I 100% pre-nerf, and now the title has lost its value. Yeah, I wish that there was some cosmetic reward, you know, like a profile picture, or I gotta get these 6 stars back in. Like a profile picture or a title or something where they could just like scrub anybody who did original Act 6. Because, like I said, it is a little bit of a badge of courage if you've done it. Let's see. I still haven't finished Act 6. Nice. I mean, at this point, finishing Act 6 is like, yeah, you'll get some 6-star shards and a Nexus, but I don't think any of those resources are really going to help someone that's as advanced account-wise as you are, Ollie, right? What I didn't like about Act 7 was that it didn't give you a new title. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you get Paragon, technically, but that wasn't related to like beating Kang, you know? I wish there was like a I beat Kang title, like Thronebreaker in the other act. That would make sense. Or Breaker of Thrones as it is now. See, remember the magic in the Iron Man Infinity War quest and the 6.25 gated magic? I think I remember those. Just dropping by quick and back to my stream. Good luck today. Thanks, Alberto. Appreciate it, man. Did you play Act 4 with Yes, dude. Devil Dog is reminding us of like one of the earliest pain points. Original Act 4, right, was Slashed Tires. Slashed Tires was the stupidest node ever. Like, it's worse than Coward node even, because like Coward node you can technically counter, but Slash Tires is just, if you dash back you take direct damage that nobody is immune to. It used to be on the old Alliance War map too, and of course against Juggernaut, who it goes unstoppable and stuff. Like, what the heck is that design? That's so funny. What I didn't get was that this 6.2 has a lot of paths. Yeah, 6.2, you know, you could pick up multiple of the side paths so that it was fewer, but like the walk back to that boss was crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys play like Dark Souls games, like, you know what I mean when I say like the walk back to a boss. You know, you die and then you need to go all the way back. Like, the walk back to the boss in 6.2 was crazy, man. It would take like 90 minutes for you to clear that lane again just to get another shot at the champion. Because if you wanted to do it efficiently, you'd want to be picking up, you know, multiple of the side paths at a time. Do you remember 7.1 beta before they redid the whole thing? That was hell, man. I remember that. Wasn't there like a saber-tooth boss or something that was crazy? I took 6 months off to build my roster before going back to Act 6. All those gates were the worst, yeah. Coward, yeah. If you're good at if you're like really skilled at like Quake type play, you can do Coward for sure. You got to play Dark Souls 2 if you really want to see walk up pain. Nice. Honestly, the only Souls game I've played is Elden Ring, and I'm very close to finishing Elden Ring, but I'm actually really considering like doing Dark Souls 3 right after it. From what I've heard, that might be a good one for me to do. But yeah, one of the reasons I've been a little bit less active in MCOC is because of Elden Ring, dude. It is such a freaking good game. I'm having so much fun in it. But there's, yeah, I've heard of some of the craziness in Dark Souls 2. Elden Ring usually doesn't have that bad of a walk back in general, from what I've heard, because they have the Stakes of America and stuff. Oh, there was an Emma boss. Okay, I don't fully remember that. I'd be okay with them bringing back the nightmare bosses for EOP. Yeah. There it is. Aspect of War and Mercy, Sabretooth. And that was like, wasn't like Red Guardian the only counter for that or something? And he had just come out. And then everybody was like, no, stop. I feel like wasn't the Summer of Pain, they kind of like more or less repeated some of the pain point bosses. Like they brought back a Mr. Sinister with EMP modification or something. Dark Souls 3 Bloodborne would be really good after Elden. Awesome. I might have to do that. I'm actually like really close to finishing new game, like first game of Elden Ring right now. I think I have like 5 more bosses at the end of the game right now, and then I'll be done with the game. But then I think I want to stick around and collect some stuff before going into New Game Plus. But I've been having a blast with it. Now Strife, yeah, Strife actually with the unstoppable counter would be pretty good for that. I've often wanted there to be, like, people have called them danger rooms, where if you beat, like, let's say you beat a boss in the game, then it unlocks like a hall of champions or something, which is just like a boss practice room. And that would be a little unfair for, like, if they bring back Karina's challenges, for you to have like unlimited practice tries against them. But I'm trying to think. It was in the game Hollow Knight, which is another one of my favorite games. They have like a boss rush DLC called the Pantheons, where it's like if you beat the boss in the overworld, then the boss appears in like a hall of gods, where you can go and just like practice on the boss, and you can increase the difficulty on the boss by making it like you have to do it hitless, or you take double damage when you fight them. And they have like more HP and stuff. So I would love that if it's like, you know, you just beat Act 6 and you beat the Grandmaster, and then there's like a little arena on the side where you can just walk up for no energy and practice against the Grandmaster. And like a lot of YouTubers would have fun making videos like that, and then you wouldn't have to worry about like the walk back of the quest and using all your energy to do it. I think that would be really fun. Or like if they put like Luke Cage from the Abyss in there to practice on, like, I think he's a really fun fight, but like you have to always beat Darkhawk to get there. Yeah, that's a good question, Magnus. Like, they were definitely gonna have to release champs that could counter these like insane fights. And like, for example, when we had Acid Wash Mysterio, that was the same month that Man Thing came out, and it's like, oh look, a champ that can armor break and poison. Perfect. That's exactly what we need for this node, but like nobody got Man Thing yet. So, you know, they were designing champs to counter the crazy nodes. And then since they sort of changed the design of things, like we've been getting more just sort of like generically decent champs that can take on a lot of content, I guess, but not champs that can fight like one very specific niche. Go back and do that Sabretooth fight with Nimrod, and you will cry at how fast he melts. Nice. Bring back Modoc's lab. Yeah, those Modoc's labs were kind of fun, actually. It was fun to just like get thrown into a mess, and like you could have like the worst combination of nodes, but then, you know, it gave you the chance to re-roll, and there was some strategy into picking when you would re-roll. I actually really like that, because then you also have to do the whole like, I'm just gonna try to pick champs that can counter a lot of things and just like hope for the best. I like this month's side quest, but we can't select. Select one path like the other rift type events. When Dimensional Rifts first came out, they were like the most popular side quest, and then they really didn't age very well. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I remember Seaton was like so excited the first time Dimensional Rifts came back, and then like ever since then, they've sort of become one of the more hated side quests. It's just kind of how it is. They've got to innovate. Like, if they just keep recycling the same thing, people get bored. It's kind of like why variant content is not that exciting anymore. Variant was like so popular for so long, and now it's people are like, I kind of don't want more variant. Alright, let's see if we can get to the bottom of the 6-star roster here. And then I should probably get going or do AQ so that Cat doesn't yell at me for not joining AQ. Yeah, I remember Seaton, like, didn't he get, like, the 4-star Awakening gem over and over again or something? It was nice to see he made a video again the other day. He took his 6-star meme and he just, like, overdubbed it as being 7-star. It was actually pretty hilarious. Made me laugh. Mutant Treasure Island, that at the time that was released, that was money. That was a really good side quest. And the funny thing is, like, I'm sure if they repeated it verbatim, it would not be that exciting today, but the design was pretty cool. I like that one. Everyone loves that. But like, people talk about like Gwenpool Goes to the Movies as one of the greatest, and it, like, looking back at it, it really wasn't that good. It was just like really easy to get a 5-star, and the funny thing is I got 5-star like Iron Patriot from it or something. Speaking of the devil. So like for me it was all that work and nothing really, right? Oh, so Mobius didn't join AQ either. Yeah. You don't want Cat to get mad at you, man. Yeah, I should probably join AQ at some point. Yeah, those celebrity challenges, I definitely miss them too. There was a period where they were coming out like 3 or 4 times a month, and it's been a while since we've had one. Oh yeah, Ultron. I'm trying to remember who, like, I guess all the movie champions were in it, right? So like you could have gotten Captain America Infinity War. There were some pretty good champs if I remember, but I got Iron Patriot. Ha, she has eyes in the back of her head for AQ. It's true. Oh yeah, was Mutant Treasure Island the one where there was like all the exploiting and people getting banned and stuff? Yeah. I'm actually getting pretty close to the bottom of my 6-star roster here. Oh, is DLL live right now? If he is, I'll just raid him and we can head over there. I'll double check on that. Because I've been going for quite a while. Oh yeah, the Shang-Chi one. This is my selective memory though. I don't remember why it was BS, but I remember it not liking it very much. If it was between Spam and Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi came out after Spam, so it must have been Shang-Chi was the most recent one. I'm so excited that I finally got Omega Sentinel, dude. I just think she's so cool. I've been like just fighting her because I think she looks awesome. We're getting our combos totally in order here, which is awesome. There we go. I'd love to stream one day. Can you PM me sometime and teach me how you set up? You know, actually, I was thinking of doing like a how to stream MCOC for Dummies video because, like I said earlier in the stream, I have a super low tech setup. Like I literally have a super underpowered MacBook Air, which is like the least powerful laptop, and I have an iPhone 11, and I don't have a capture card, and I just stream with that. And it actually, and I have a nice microphone, but other than that, you know, you really can get away with like pretty low tech for mobile games. So if I get my act together, which of course is maybe 50-50, if I remember to do it, I think that'd be a good video. But yeah, I can definitely send you some of my, like, how I do it in the settings. I can give you a quick rundown. I have to keep the quality of the video pretty low so that it doesn't overload my computer. So you might notice like it's not the crispest looking video, but honestly, I think the audio is more important because that's the thing. Like most people aren't like staring at the video, you know, as like the main thing. They're here to chat and talk and all that. So, and actually my microphone isn't even that good, to be honest. I think the microphone's like $100, and you know, this is just my home laptop and my home phone, so it's not too bad. Oh yeah, Close Encounters, that sounds right. Yeah. You guys have better memory than I do. For sure. Like I said, I usually do content and forget it immediately. The only piece of content I have like a really solid memory of is Abyss of Legends. Because when I was doing Abyss of Legends, Tafre and I were doing it at the same time, and we were kind of racing each other for 100%. And I remember we were talking a lot about Abyss together, and it was just a fun time to like craft the lanes and everything. These fights at the bottom of my roster take a really long time though, especially without suicides. Uh-oh, I hope this is enough. There we go. Thanks, Captain Easy. Close Encounters, Invasion, is that Invade? 300% attack and 100% block penetration. That's fun. That reminds me of Variant 8, where everything had Energize and Invade. It's like, wow, that's really fun. Thanks, Skaban. Now that I'm on the CCP server, though, and I interact with the Kabam employees occasionally, like, I give them a lot more credit than a lot of people do, because like you really see that they're human beings, you know. And this game is a very, very complicated organism. Oh, we're out of 6 stars, so let's just throw in some 5 stars, and then we'll see how many points my roster actually gets here, and then maybe we'll sign off. But yeah, getting back to that, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that Kabam steps in it, right? And they make some not some so good decisions and whatnot. But when you see sort of the intent of the people and their integrity and in a lot of cases their artistry, you give them a little bit more grace, right? Because they just want the game to be good too. And like I said, it's a very complicated organism. This game, there's so much going on, and the fact that everybody plays it at home on a different device, you know, it's not like a console game that you design and then everybody plays it on, you know, maybe like it just has to work on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation or something. This is like they have to create something that works on iOS, that works on Android, that works on everyone's different internet. And I think most of us still have a decent amount of fun playing the game, or we wouldn't all still be here, right? So even though I'm known to gripe every once in a while, we're all known to gripe every once in a while, I think we all still really like this game and are going to keep playing it, and hopefully they just keep making good decisions. Yeah, I'm actually surprised there aren't even more bugs. It's true. And DLL has said something that really puts stuff in perspective for me, which is like, you know, they do play tests, right? So like obviously they have a team of whatever, I don't know how many people work there. Let's say there's like 30 people on their team and they play test stuff. But then when something gets released in the game, you know, like hundreds of thousands of people play test it, so that you get way more hours of testing something by a bunch of people in the community versus like the 30 people on their team. So like obviously they may not have found some bug or some crazy interaction because they only have like 30 people testing it for several hours. Whereas like if 1 million people test it for 1 minute, you're going to get way more man hours of testing and discovering of some kind of bug. So, you know, as much as you try to get everything before it gets released into the game, there's going to be bugs, and it's just live server games. All right, so all of our 6 stars is 10 million points. That's good to know. That's good to know if I ever wanted to do a featured grind again, that we have like 52 rounds and 10 million points. When I do my arena runs, I usually stop after my rank 3s. Yeah, I think if I wasn't hanging and chatting with people, I would have given up a while ago, but that's not bad for 1 day of grinding. They want to challenge people, but since the game is microtransactions, the challenges are too easily perceived as predatory cash grabs. Yeah, I mean, they have to make money, right? So it's like, you know, 7 stars, relics, ascension, you know, is it going to be monetized? Hell yeah. Of course it is. Everything is. Prestige and, you know, getting the newest, shiniest thing first is always going to be for a price, right? And I mean, it's naive to not think that way, right? So I just hope they allow people like me and that are not really spending on the game right now, like an ability to have fun in my lane. Like I'm not expecting to be top of the game. Now I would click on the incursions thing to look up how many 6 stars I have, but incursions are not live, so I guess we can do it the old-fashioned way. I guess I'll do by rows, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, 25 times 6 is 150, right? 25 times 6 and then 1 is 151. Thanks, Magnus. Beat me to it. Oh, a 6-star filter. Smarts. Duh, it says it right there, 151. Oh my god. I feel like a grandpa with that one there. So 151 6 stars. And I have 191 5 stars if I wanted to go down the line there. Not bad. There's a counter. Yeah, hilarious. Thanks for letting me go through that whole thing. Making a fool of myself there. I love it. All right, I want to see, did someone say DLL is streaming? I might just send us over there. I'm going to go check YouTube real quick and see if we can raid somebody, because I might be winding down now. For some reason it put the wrong thumbnail on my stream, I just realized. All right, let's go raid DLL. So I'm going to go pull up his stream. Let's give that a second. Sorry, we might get some sound here for a second. Sorry if I bleed over. My computer's being really slow. All right, so that's DLL stream. Let me just catch up with chat, and then we can all go over there and do a little Campo raid hashtag. Nothing wrong with Kabam making money. They have over hundreds of employees. Just do the maths. Yeah. I mean, they got to make money. I think we all understand that. Back in my day, we had to count them by rows. I love that. Yay, thanks. Yes, sir. He'll give me hard alliance war fights if I'm not there on time, sir. All right, guys. So I'm gonna close the stream for now. Thank you so much for hanging. I actually had a really fun time. Yeah, I really appreciate the support. We had a really good crew here today. Hopefully, I can do more casual stuff like this. And thanks all for just being really nice people. It's really easy to talk about the game with you all without it becoming this like ranting session, right? Because we're all trying to have fun here. So let's all head over to DLL stream and cheer him on, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.